Carol Gilligan, Morality of Care. Carol Gilligan, whose ideas center on a morality of care or system of beliefs about human responsibilities, care, and consideration for others, proposed 3 moral positions that represent different extents or breadth of ethical care. Unlike Kohlberg or Piaget, she does not claim that the positions form a strictly developmental sequence, but only that they can be ranked in a hierarchy according to their depth or subtlety. In this respect, her theory is quote-unquote semi-developmental, in a way similar to Maslow's theory of motivation. The following table summarizes the 3 moral positions from Gilligan's theory. Position 1. Survival orientation. Action that considers one's personal needs only. Position 2. Conventional care. Action that considers others' needs or preferences, but not one's own. Position 3. Integrated care. Action that attempts to coordinate one's own personal needs with those of others. Position 1. Caring as survival. The most basic kind of caring is a survival orientation, in which a person is concerned primarily with his or her own welfare. As a moral position, a survival orientation is obviously not satisfactory for classrooms on a widespread scale. If every student only looked out for himself or herself alone, classroom life might become rather unpleasant. Nonetheless, there are situations in which caring primarily about yourself is both a sign of good mental health and also relevant to teachers. For a child that has been bullied at school or sexually abused at home, for example, it is both healthy and morally desirable to speak out about the bullying or abuse, essentially looking out for the victim's own needs at the expense of others, including the bullies or the abusers. Speaking out requires a survival orientation and is healthy because in this case, the child is at least caring about themselves. Position 2. Conventional caring. A more subtle moral position is caring for others, in which a person is concerned about others' happiness and welfare, and about reconciling or integrating others' needs where they conflict with each other. In classrooms, students who operate from position 2 can be very desirable in some ways. They can be kind, considerate, and good at fitting in, and at working cooperatively with others. Because these qualities are very welcome in a busy classroom, it can be tempting for teachers to reward students for developing and using them for much of their school careers. The problem with rewarding position 2 ethics, however, is that doing so neglects the student's identity, his or her own academic and personal goals or values. Sooner or later, personal goals, values, and identity need attention, and educators have a responsibility for assisting students to discover and clarify them. Unfortunately, for teachers, students who know what they want may sometimes be more assertive and less automatically compliant than those who do not. Position 3. Integrated caring. The most developed form of moral caring in Gilligan's model is integrated caring, the coordination of personal needs and values with those of others. Now, the morally good choice takes account of everyone, including yourself, not everyone except yourself. In classrooms, integrated caring is most likely to surface whenever teachers give students wide, sustained freedom to make choices. If students have little flexibility about their actions, there is little room for considering anyone's needs or values, whether their own or others. If the teacher says simply, "Do the homework on page 50 and turn it in tomorrow morning," then compliance becomes the main issue, not moral choice. But suppose instead that she says something like this: over the next 2 months, figure out an inquiry project about the use of water resources in our town. Organize it any way you want. Talk to people, read widely about it, and share it with the class in a way that all of us, including yourself, will find meaningful. Although an assignment this general or abstract may not suit some teachers or students, it does pose moral challenges for those who do use it. Why? For one thing, students cannot simply carry out specific instructions, but must decide what aspects of the topic really matter to them. The choice is partly a matter of personal values. For one thing, students have to consider how the topic might be meaningful or important to others in the class. Third, because the timeline for completion is relatively far in the future, students may have to weigh personal priorities, like spending time with family on the weekend, against educational priorities, working on the assignment a bit more on the weekend. Some students might have trouble making good choices when given this sort of freedom, and their teachers might therefore be cautious about giving such an assignment. But in a way, these hesitations are part of Gilligan's point. Integrated caring is indeed more demanding than the caring based on survival or orientation to others, and not all students may be ready for it. We've learned that major changes in the structure and functioning of the brain occur during adolescence and result in the theories about cognitive and behavioral developments. These cognitive changes include how information is processed and are fostered by improvements in cognitive function during early adolescence, such as in memory, encoding, and storage, as well as the ability to think about thinking, therefore becoming better at information processing functions.